Here on Adult Conversations, you give all the advice by contributing on the subject matter without judging. Adult Conversations on Women Radio runs every Monday through Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. because we are here to break the culture of silence. If you have a story that you want us to bring to the family of Adult Conversations, make sure you send in your story. Do well to send in your story as long as you know that you want your story to be shared publicly, please. Send in your story to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Send your story into this number as well as your name and number. Yes, I'll take that again. Send your story to this number with your name and contact telephone number, just in case we have questions. Tonight on Adult Conversations. My name is Abigail. I'm 30 and a virtual assistant. My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years and we love each other very much and are discussing marriage. Before him, I had been single for about 5 years because my genotype is SS, so I had to be picky. My boyfriend knows my genotype and he is AA, so we work. I live alone, but I spent one Saturday 3 weeks ago with my boyfriend because he wanted us to spend more time together. I had a sickle cell crisis for the first time in his presence that day, and he took me to the hospital, stayed with me till I was discharged, and even paid my medical bills. He broke up with me after I got better, saying that he cannot deal with a wife falling sick that often and to that point of needing blood, so he would rather end the relationship. Should I beg him or accept the breakup? And this is Abigail's question today. Bear in mind that Abigail is 30 and she is a sickle cell warrior, because that's what we call it today, and we need to acknowledge that the people who live with sickle cell are very strong people. So that's why we call them sickle cell warriors, or a carrier of the sickle cell mutation. So Abigail is 30 and she and her boyfriend have been together for 2 years, and she says they love each other and they're even already discussing marriage. Now, before this current boyfriend, Abigail had been single for about 5 years, and that's no thanks to the genotype situation. Again, you know that once somebody is SS, you need to look out for somebody who is not SS and is not AS. Basically, you're looking out for someone who is AA, just so that you do not carry any risk whatsoever of having children with sickle cell. So, Abigail had been single for about 5 years before she met her boyfriend. And her boyfriend is AA and he knows her genotype. He's AA, he knows her genotype is SS, so they work. They're good together, they're a good couple. Now, she said she lives alone. This basically means her boyfriend has practically never seen her in the middle of a crisis before. But one Saturday 3 weeks ago, she spent the weekend with her boyfriend. Or she spent that Saturday with her boyfriend because he wanted them to spend more time together. Now, during the course of that day that they were spending together, she had a sickle cell crisis. And he took her to the hospital. He paid for her medical bill. He stayed there till she was discharged. And he took good care of her, basically. Now, after all of that was over and Abigail got better, her boyfriend broke up with her, saying that he cannot deal with a wife falling that sick to the point of needing blood. So he would rather end the relationship. Abigail is now asking, talking about marriage, everything was good. And now he has broken up with me because he found me, or because he caught me in a sickle cell crisis and saw how bad things can get sometimes. Should I beg him or should I break up with him? Remember that 30 is about that age where society tends to make you feel like you're not achieving much if you're not in a relationship or if you're not married at that time. So, what are your thoughts for Abigail tonight? She needs your advice. The number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. You can send a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Anywhere you are in the world, you can listen from the website www.wfm917.com. www.wfm917.com. Also, you can download the Women Radio app on Google Play Store on iOS, and you can listen live when you do that. When you call, please remember to turn down the volume of your radio. Turn it down so that when I hear you, you can hear me as well without any interference, and we can have a very great flow of conversation. Now, please also keep your comments down to 2 minutes at the most. I don't want to take unnecessarily long comments, but I want you to still take your time to give constructive advice to what's his name again? To Abigail, yes, because Abigail she's in need of that advice. So whatever you do, make sure to give constructive advice to Abigail. Also, if you want to join the Adult Conversations family group chat, you totally can. All you have to do is send in your name and contact number on WhatsApp. Send your name and WhatsApp number on WhatsApp to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Now, a good benefit of that is that I'll be taking messages of the Adult Conversations family platform first before I take messages or calls from anywhere. Tonight's first message is coming in from Daniel from Ikorodu. Daniel is saying, my advice is that she should move on with her life. It's even better that he got to know about your health issues before you both settle down. And that's coming from Daniel from Ikorodu. Toby from Yanokwacha is saying, I will advise you to move on because his excuse of not wanting to have a wife falling sick is not genuine. It's not even an excuse. He knows your genotype and he's supposed to know your kind of person. So to me, he's probably looking for an excuse to break up with you. So just move on and pray to God to give you your own husband. And that's coming from Toby from Yanokwacha. Shegofumi Dan from Ifo is saying, there's no point begging him here, unless if you want to continue begging him throughout your marriage. Abigail, it wasn't your fault that you're SS. It's not your fault, and your boyfriend should be able to understand that. Moreover, you already opened up to him about your health status. So why is he holding it against you? Well, I think the truth is that he doesn't love you, and he has probably been looking for a way to break up with you for a while now. So he took the crisis as a stepping stone to do that. Shegun Fumi goes on to say, my dear, let him go. The right person for you will show up, but in the time being, for every man, there's a woman. So just be patient and be prayerful. The right person will find you, and you will forever be grateful that he left. Chinwe from Ejigbo is saying, good evening, lady. Move on with your life. God shall bring the person that would accept you and love you with his whole heart. Thank you so much for all those messages. This is still Adult Conversations on Women Radio 91.7, and I want to hear from you.
He says it all. Women Radio 91.7.
It's game night at the Bensons and everyone's having fun. Then, this.
Hey, son, what's the matter? You too? No way.
Don't let coughs and the common cold ruin your fun time. Tuxedo range of reformulated AM Light syrups provides effective relief from cough and cold. Product may cause drowsiness. Tuxedo, the job gets done when the cough is gone. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor.
My children are surprises. Adane buys my favorite 3 Crowns milk regularly. And as for Chinedu, that one makes it rain with monthly upkeep. They even plan to take me to Dubai someday soon, so I can see Burj Khalifa and other fine places.
Win your mom a trip to Dubai. Buy 3 Crowns milk products worth 2,000 naira. Write a note to say thank you to your mom. Post it on www.3crowns.com.ng and she could be one of the lucky winners to Dubai. Terms and conditions apply. 3 Crowns milk. Healthy moms, happy families. Who says excellence has no reward? Then come to the Nigerian Broadcasting Awards, TNBA, and see the reward for excellence, the goat of all awards.
The Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria has moved up the ladder in the broadcast industry again, and this time it's with a high-profile event, the Nigeria Broadcasting Awards, TNBA. It's time to recognize and reward excellence in the broadcast industry and celebrate our very own with the prestigious TNBA. There will be awards for outstanding achievement in television, radio, as well as distinguished achievements and meritorious service in broadcasting. There are many other categories added for this year's event, and it will also be a great opportunity to give your products and services that mammoth buzz to move it to the next level. For exhibition, sponsorship, and more information, please visit www.tnbawards.ng.
2023 general election don't come. Time don't come to move Nigeria forward with our votes. Make we join hands together and vote for better candidates. Candidates wey no dey use women play. Candidates wey carry woman matter for head. Women know, make una get una permanent voters card, PVC. Make we vote better.
The Voice for Women Empowerment Foundation and Women Radio 91.7 will bring una this message.
Na Women Radio 91.7 anyị ji gị kpọrọ ihe anyị na-achọ ụzọ anyị ga-esi bịaruo gị nso ya ka anyị ji bido otu ndị redio ụmụ nwaanyị ijikọ gị na ụmụ nwaanyị ndị ọzọ nọ na steeti 36 n'obodo Naijiria. Ị bụ onye ahịa, onye nwere ebe ị na-arụ, nwa akwụkwọ, onye ezumike nka, nne nọ n'ụlọ elekọta ụmụaka maọbụ onye ọrụ ugbo. Otu redio ụmụ nwaanyị ji maka gị wee pụta. Debanye aha na WFM917.com. Ị nwekwara ike isonyere otu ndị redio ụmụ nwaanyị na Facebook. Ndị so anyị ga-erite uru. Anyị ga-akwalite ahịa ha na-azụ na Women Radio. Ị ga-enwetakwa ezigbo nrụlite uru dị iche iche. Budata ngwa mkpanaka anyị ka ị gee anyị ntị ebe ọbụla ị nọ. Ndị otu redio ụmụ nwaanyị na-ejikọ gị na ụmụ nwaanyị ndị ọzọ.
Stories of women and girls who have suffered gender-based violence and harassment are common, and this is why we must work together to end gender-based violence by uprooting the seeds from the community. Tune in to Women Lives Matter on Women Radio 91.7 every Monday at 2 p.m. to lend your voice to the fight against gender-based violence. Women Lives Matter will address gender-based violence in the community. Women Lives Matter will seek the collaboration of your community leaders. Women Lives Matter, Mondays 2 p.m. on Women Radio WFM 91.7. This is an initiative of Women Advocates Research and Documentation Center and supported by Ford Foundation.
The big question.
Corruption is, in fact, is increasing more. We never had a snake and whether Saturn and swallowing money.
Why?
Everything has increased.
Conversational, controversial, and borderline disruptive. The big question.
Mondays to Fridays, 12:05 p.m.
On your Women Radio WFM 91.7. Political arena.
The largest religious institutions in Nigeria have failed in enforcing the law in ensuring that members are safe.
Over 180 million people, one country, one capital, 36 states, 469 national assembly seats, 774 local government areas. This is Nigeria.
We should stop doing this blame game. It's not really fighting corruption, fighting opponents, it's fighting the one. All them in the dark.
How well do you know the political terrain of Nigeria? Today, there's no such thing as keep it out of politics. All issues are political games, and we are the players. Political arena.
Wednesdays, 11:30 a.m.
On Women Radio,
WFM 91.7.
political arena. Politicking at all levels.
I feel that there's some sort of lack of professionalism in this because we're talking about 100 lives. Government has also put in place a structure to make it look like what they have in mind. How do we stop crime in the society? Because at the end of the day, if a man cannot provide for his wife anymore, he looks for other means. Because we should arrest Nigerians from yes, Panorama.
Mondays through Fridays from 9 to 5 a.m.
WFM 91.7 will bring you ladies from across Nigeria
Nigeria's political zones, dissecting, discussing, and disagreeing on topical issues of the day. You too can join the conversation by tweeting us at WFM917 with the hashtag Panorama. WFM 91.7, Voice of Women.
24 minutes past 6 on Women Radio 91.7, and this is still Adult Conversations, where we share real life issues and discuss matters relating to the heart. Once again, my name is Sumto Titilayo Ajama, and it's good to have you here. If you're just tuning in, this is a story from Abigail, and this is a story that we are profiling tonight. My name is Abigail. I'm 30 and a virtual assistant. My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years, and we love each other very much and are currently discussing marriage. Before him, I had been single for about 5 years because my genotype is SS, so I really had to be picky. My boyfriend knows my genotype and he is AA, so we work. I live alone, but I spent one Saturday 3 weeks ago with my boyfriend because he wanted to spend more time together. I had a sickle cell crisis for the first time in his presence that day, and he took me to the hospital. He stayed till I was discharged and even paid my medical bills. He then broke up with me after I got better, saying that he could not deal with a wife falling sick that often and to that point of needing blood, so he would rather end the relationship. Abigail's question tonight is, should I beg him or accept the breakup? Should I beg him or accept the breakup? The number to call is 07000 917 917. Do you advise Abigail to beg him and beg her way back into his life as his girlfriend and future wife? Or do you think she should accept the breakup? What are your thoughts tonight? Abigail wants to hear from you, and the number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. Also, you can send in a text message or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. The phone line is open, so be sure to call in and talk to me about what your advice to Abigail is. I believe that Abigail is listening, so she can also listen and take down some of the advice that you'll be dishing out tonight. We always say that a broken relationship is better than a broken marriage. We always say that on this program. But this is almost so true concerning that particular part, because they were dating, he found her in the sickle cell crisis or found her in the middle of a sickle cell crisis and he bolted, couldn't take it anymore. What do you think she should do? Beg him or break up with him? Or accept the breakup rather? Hello, good evening.
Hello. My name is Ayo.
Ayo, please, I need you to turn down the volume of your radio.
Okay, yes, turn down. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, but I need a bit more volume from you. And I need you to turn down the volume of that radio. I can still hear the feedback and it's very inconvenient.
Is it better now? I've done that.
Yes, much better. Okay. Ayo, where are you calling from?
Okay, yeah. I'm calling from Maryland.
Okay, thank you very much, Ayo. Please go ahead. Should she beg him or accept the breakup?
What she has to do is to accept the breakup, because moving forward, if any of such issue arises again, maybe she needs to be hospitalized any time subsequently in the relationship or in the marriage, then the guy would always raise this issue and keep telling her that I can't continue with this relationship. Because that's the basis for which he's breaking up with her. So she has to just accept it and move on. and eventually she will find somebody that would love her for who she is, and of course will be able to go into the relationship regardless of whether she will be falling sick or not. So it's not something that will happen just she's a sickle cell patient. So it's not something that will just happen and will never happen again. So as time would go on in the relationship, it would, she might need to be hospitalized sometimes, which if any of such thing happen again, the guy will raise the issue that, you see what I've been saying, I don't want this relationship again. So she just accept her fate and be hopeful that she gets somebody that would love her for who she is.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ayo. Yeah. Thank you very much for calling. Ayo from Maryland on that one, and he's basically saying there's a lot of truth to the point that her boyfriend has taken. Now, it's very inconvenient, and being that they're 2 years into the relationship, they're talking marriage, but Ayo is saying it's better now than later. And if he finally agrees and doesn't break up with you, before you know it, whenever you have another crisis, you say, oh, but you see, I didn't want any part of this, and it will hurt you really badly. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, please? Where are you calling from?
My name is Lara. I'm calling from Lekki.
Hello, Lara. Thank you for calling.
Oh, thanks a lot. Actually, we didn't get to know the other part of the story in terms of probably the guy was using her for something because there is no love there. Fine. There could be crisis for sickle cell, but there are more serious illness that could be very devastating. So for him to come up just for a one time shows that there was no love. I know it could be painful because she's not expecting it. But all we need to do is support her with prayers, and I know God will do the best for her. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lara. Thank you for calling. So the point about him wanting something, I really don't know about that because she didn't. I don't even think she knows about that if that was in the mix at any point in time, because all he's saying or all he has said is that he's not interested in the relationship anymore because he doesn't want to have to keep taking care of a wife who falls sick that often and that badly. So it's not even the frequency of it. It's not just the frequency of it. It's the intensity of it. So even if you fall ill frequently with headache or with malaria, so to speak, it's relatively understandable. But if you fall sick with a crisis that you most likely will need blood at every turn, he's like, man, I don't really think I can do this. And that's why he broke up with her. Do you think this is reason enough to break up with someone? Do you think this reason is justified? And then again, talk to me about the question that Abigail is asking. Should she beg him or break up with him or accept the breakup? Let me put it that way. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. May I know your name and where you're calling from?
Lady B.
Hello, Lady B. I hope you're feeling much better now.
Yeah, I'm better.
That's good. That's great news. That's great news.
How's your day going?
Fine. Thank you so much. Thank you for asking.
Well done.
Thank you.
No easy talking though. You are doing a great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think reality has dawned on them, both of them, and they've been living fake love all this while. I know of a couple that they both are still AS, and they got married. ASS, they got married, but all their children are AS.
The couple, are they AS and SS?
AS, Abby. SS rather.
Both of them are SS.
Yes, both of them are SS. This is she's my friend actually. Both of them are SS and they got married.
And they gave birth to children that are all AS. How is that even possible?
That's it. She always tells me it's by faith. That she took both faith. And it's not story. This is real life, my best friend.
Of course.
So I was just telling my sister here when I had the story concerning this Abigail issue and this other man. So I think you can't force love. And when somebody is not capable of taking care of responsibility, you don't go and beg. You allow the person to be. Because we are not talking of now, we are talking of his future. So instead of him, I think he's even telling her that I can't do this. Because
Okay.
he has seen he has seen that's what we don't want to hear. And then they keep deceiving us till a lot of things goes on. But when someone comes out openly with both chest to say I can't do this, try to force the person. You don't need to beg the person. He has told you I cannot do this. I can't take it. It's beyond me. And you are saying you want to beg the person. Why? Why don't you accept it and know that this is not for you are only good for both of you are only good for relationship and not marriage or any other thing. Then you look for if actually his demand for her at that moment you said, okay, this is what I'm bargaining for. I can do it. And there won't be any issue. You go ahead and marry. Yeah. But for him to say, I can't do this, you don't need to beg anybody to love you. She's beautiful. She'll find her own man who will be able to take care of her, take those responsibilities, and without complaint. So she should just see the reality before her, accept it, and move on. And God will give her a better man that will take good care of her.
Thank you very much, Lady B. Thank you for calling. Interesting advice there. Lady B is saying you can't go begging him because he has made his decision. He's decided on what he wants to do, and it wouldn't be right for you to beg somebody to love you, particularly when they've seen you at that in that moment when you're really, really down and helpless, and they nurse you to health, and that's what they decide to do after, to break up with you. So she's saying he has made his point clear, he has communicated himself, and he has communicated his message, and he has said what he has to say. She's saying God will find you your right husband at the end of the day, because this person is so not the person for you. And that's what Lady B is saying. Still Women Radio 91.7, still most definitely adult conversations.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your girl again, Shega. You are listening to WFM 91.7. Yeah. Keep your ear tuning. That's it.
Have you been a victim of corruption? Do you want to report how corruption affects you and your community? Send an SMS or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537.
It's a brand new day, I'm feeling stronger. Happy to do anything, happy to do my work now. Yesterday was tough, don't repair, don't recover. See me as a fighter, baby, I see me how I bring. Let me say, I see
Prepare and recover with Astimine, a blend of amino acids and multivitamins. It is time for all to come together with one voice and pray for our nation, Nigeria. The Agape Prayer Fellowship invites you to the Day of Prayer for Nigeria. Date is Saturday, 17th of September, 2022. Time, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. West African time. Venue is at Tafawa Balewa Square, TBS, Lagos. The Agape Prayer Fellowship, Day of Prayer for Nigeria. All are welcome, irrespective of faith and denomination.
Stories of women and girls who have suffered gender-based violence and harassment are common, and this is why we must work together to end gender-based violence by uprooting the seeds from the community. Tune in to Women Lives Matter on Women Radio 91.7 every Monday at 2 p.m. to lend your voice to the fight against gender-based violence. Women Lives Matter will address gender-based violence in the community. Women Lives Matter will seek the collaboration of your community leaders. Women Lives Matter, Mondays 2 p.m. on Women Radio WFM 91.7. This is an initiative of Women Advocates Research and Documentation Center and supported by Ford Foundation.
In this
Albishirin ku uwana mata, ke ma'aikaciya ce ko ɗaliba ko mai sana'a ko manomiya ko uwar gida mai sana'a cikin gidanta domin kuwa dama ta samu. Rediyon mata wato Women Radio ta tanadar muku da ƙungiya na masu sana'a iri daban-daban a duk jihohin da ke Najeriya. Ƙungiyar rediyon mata na matuƙar kulawa da harkokin mata domin ganin cewa mata masu sana'a sun samu karɓuwa da ci gaba a cikin al'umma ta hanyar tallata musu hajojinsu ba tare da biyan ko naira ba. Ko kuma ku shiga shafinmu na wannan ƙungiya a Facebook. Idan ku kasance mamban wannan ƙungiyar akwai kyauta daga raɓasa da ake samu a duk ƙarshen wata. Domin samun wannan kyauta sai ku yi download ɗin mobile app ɗinmu domin samun sauraron mu a kowane lokaci a duk inda kuke. Ku kasance da rediyon mata.
2023 general election don't come. Time don't come to move Nigeria forward with our votes. Make we join hands together and vote for better candidates. Candidates wey no dey use women play. Candidates wey carry woman matter for head. We know make una get una permanent voters card PVC. Make we vote better.
Na Voice for Women Empowerment Foundation and Women Radio 91.7 bring una this message.
Plenty women dey talk say abba shey na me go still come cook food this 10 o'clock wey I just dey return from work upon say this man don dey house since 6 o'clock. Wetin woman no go see for Naija market na so woman look me finish tell me say madam abeg pack that certificate for corner na housewife fit you. Imagine o my sisters wetin dis men want sef na food respect abi na love. We for like no because we don tire. Respect kwa love one thing. On top the program na woman matter, we dey gist every matter wey concern women, whether na inside life matter, relationship talk, political yarn, business or women health matter. E dey brekete for ground every Wednesday 3 p.m. for your ogbonge Women Radio 91.7. Na woman matter na every for here. Think you know current affairs? Are you a guru in mathematics? Can you name all the countries in the world? Is your pronunciation or spelling top-notch? Venture School on Women Radio WFM 91.7 is a program that takes you on a learning ride into the world of English, mathematics, art, and much more.
Radio School.
Thursdays 3:05 p.m. Radio School is supported by City of Knowledge Academy. Have you been a victim of corruption? Do you want to report how corruption affects you and your community? Send an SMS or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537.
Minutes to 7 on Women Radio 91.7. This is still Adult Conversations, where we discuss real life issues and share matters relating to the heart. If you're just tuning in, we're profiling the story of Abigail tonight, and I'll read the story just for the benefit of those who are just tuning in a moment. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Cynthia.
Oh, hello, Young. Thank you for calling tonight. How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm all right. Thank you very much. Can you be louder for me, please?
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, a bit.
All right. You know, this is one of the reasons why some people do not disclose some issues.
Genotype.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons. But it's better this way than later. You know, it's better. How do they say it? broken relationship is better than broken marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better this way. Then that's how you know the people that love you. And for the people that treat people this way also, I want to tell them that that's no love. Because my Bible makes me understand in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13 that love gets all things, endures all things.
Mm-hmm.
So if I cannot endure your hard times with you and I claim to love you, it's false love. It's fake love. It's not real.
So what is the advice? What is the advice?
My advice is that she doesn't need to beg anybody. Abigail doesn't need to beg anybody. She has to move on. This young man is not meant for her. So let her just move on. Her man is coming on the way. And I want to advise her as well that she should not stop disclosing her issues to the next man that is coming.
Interesting point of view. Yes.
She should not stop disclosing her health issues until you get the man that really loves the way you are. When you do that, you see the person that will tell you that thing doesn't really matter. Look at the example Lady D just gave. I know a lot of stories like that, a whole lot of issues like what she just said. A whole lot of them, like exactly the way she said it. I know a countless number of people like that. You know, and at the end of the day, they end up living happily, having the unexpected, you know. So there's nothing God cannot do.
Of course.
So if she wants to be happy in her marriage, let her not take this man, and let her not stop disclosing that same challenge to the next man. Just tell them the way you are, and the one that loves you will take you the way you are. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Young. Thank you for calling. So if you don't tell them about the genotype thing, if you don't tell them about it, only for them to find out later, is it not tantamount to deception? Is it not tantamount to deception? Are you not deceiving them into thinking that everything is good and rosy over here? I mean, on some level, don't you think that regardless of how things are, you should be able to afford certain luxuries, you should be able to afford certain things, you should be able to have a full life. You should be able to have a full life. That's the whole idea of why people work hard, why people want to be big in this life. So if she has a little bit of a limitation, which she's not even addressing as one, she's not addressing it. She just says, I know I have, the sickle cell and all of that, but that should not deter me from doing what I want to do. So it's not exactly the best case scenario, so to speak. It's not exactly the best case scenario. But if you take good reply, if you take a good look, yes, at everything transpiring between Abigail and her boyfriend, I can see how you'd be inclined to say he doesn't really love her. I can see how you'd be inclined to say that. But maybe he also loves her. He loves her so much that he doesn't want it to get to a point where, it was before, which is when they were, just talking and being friends and everything. And now that the fact that she's sickle cell has come out, which he knew before, that was just the first time that he had encountered a crisis in front of him. And he obviously didn't know what to do, but he did his best. Took her to the hospital, paid for her bills, waited by her side, all of that. And now that she's better, you break it to her and let her know that, we're not more saying, I've been... I'm trying to find the right way to put it. We're not more saying, but we're in that space. We're in that space where... how do I say this now? We're in a different space. Let me put it that way. We're not more together, but we're in a different space. And before you know it, they'll get married, and it'll prove to be a difficult marriage. It'll prove to be a difficult marriage, because if you know anything about sickle cell warriors, you know that they fall ill quite often. They fall ill quite often. So if you're complaining at the first one, how can you get to the second one or the third one or the fourth one, knowing that it will still hurt, to still break account, to still do everything? But my question here is, will it not be deceit if she doesn't tell her partner to be, whoever it is that she will be going out with now, is it okay not to tell them that, she's living with the genotype sickle cell? She's living with the sickle cell genotype. Yes. Would it not be deception if she doesn't say it? So what do you think, though? What do you think? Angela is asking, should I beg him or should I break up? Should I beg him or should I break up? Well, I'm not supposed to be here either, but I'm doing my best on this one. So, should she beg him or should she not beg him? What do you think? What do you think? Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Santa.
Good evening. What's your name, please?
My name is Mary. I'm calling from Bega.
Your name again?
Hello, can you hear me? Mary, calling from Bega.
Mary from Berger. Thank you for calling, Mary. All right, please. What's your advice?
I think Lady B has said it all. I'm going with Lady B. What she said, I think she has said it all. Maybe she just move on. Hello?
I'm with you. You said you think she has said it all, that the lady should just move on.
Yes, but she will find someone better than that man. But I don't think that man loves her, so...
Interesting. So, but is it that he cannot love her and not want to marry her because of that? Can't he love her and still not want to marry her? Now, believe me, I know the answer to this one. You're probably looking at me like, is it what? No, we don't do like that here. Sometimes you need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to do things that you've probably never done before. And in a situation like this, anything could pop up, literally. Anything can pop up. Sickle cell is just one thing. There could be any other thing. She could be going through any other side effect as a result of some of the medication that she's taking. It could really be anything. But it would all work out in the end. I believe so. It would all work out in the end. Now, when I say all work out, I don't necessarily mean that Abigail and her boyfriend will come back together. I don't necessarily mean that. If that's what works for them, then fine. But if not, don't try to be in that space. Don't try too hard to be in that space, to be honest. Because one could just sit down and say, oh, she was trying to feel big. She was trying to do jaye life and all of that. But nobody asks for anything like this. Really, nobody did. So at the end of the day, it's really a sad situation. But let's bring it back to the two people involved. In how do I phrase this? In a lot of ways, we tend to stick close to what we know, our comfort zone and all of that. But when your comfort zone starts to hurt you, when your comfort zone starts to become unhealthy, does it not take a toll on like your health, your physical health? Because I'm concerned about that on some level. I'm concerned about that. So I don't even know where to begin because there are just so many things I want to say, to be honest, particularly before the rings, rather. There's so many things I want to say, but it's just important, believe me, it's important that you are going to get the ability to call in. Well, you can call in, so just do that. Do that so you can give Abigail some advice. She really needs this. And I think it's also, if you think about it, you realize that 30 age for a woman is very tricky. It's very tricky because 1 second people expect it to be all bold, and the other second they're expecting it to be more understanding of certain things. So at the end of the day, it's a mixture of different ideas, which is what we need, actually. Which is what we need, because I mean, it's been a really long time since music, and it's been an even longer time. Or I can bet with you that 2 years that they've been together feels even more than 2 years, because she's saying they've been discussing marriage. So in her mind, she would have felt, I'm here with the right person. I'm here with my person, only for this to happen. So she's asking, should I beg him or should I break up with him? What do you think she should do? Actually, should I beg him or should I accept the breakup? So he has broken up with her. But if she goes back there and she says certain things that make him feel good, make them feel good, do whatever it is that she has to do, then to a large extent, we'll see a difference. But that's not really the most important thing. You are the most important thing. You're the one who's calling to give advice. You're the one who's sending text messages and WhatsApp messages. And let us hear your thoughts. 07000 917 917 is the number to call. 07000 917 917. Send in your text or WhatsApp messages to 0703 175 6537. All right, this is a message coming in from Fred. Fred says, my name is Fred. My advice is not to mistakenly beg for her boyfriend, because I think even if the guy married, the guy will not marry her. So I believe it's talking about the fact that sometimes, let me read that again. My advice is not to mistakenly beg for a boyfriend, meaning don't go begging him, trying to take him back. Because I think even if they get married, the guy will not respect her. So he's saying even if they get married as they are now, he may not respect her. And that's a major challenge. That's a major thing. It may not come off as it is, but believe me, that's a big deal. What do you think tonight? Do you think Abigail should beg her, or do you think she should? What do you think? I'm listening, and of course, I'm open taking calls as well. What are your thoughts tonight on this story? Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. This is Perpetua.
Perpetua, where are you calling from? From Akuti. All right, Perpetua, thank you very much for calling.
Concerning the discussion that we are discussing now, our people used to say that what is better is not good, no matter how it is. It can be sweet now, but let alone. It will take another thing.
Okay.
So, as we notice now that it is the issue, just and say, God will provide for another person that will be Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Honestly speaking, a lot of the advice we've been getting tonight is very encouraging, very realistic, and I appreciate that. I really do. Because anybody who lives with sickle cell will tell you that there are different ways it affects different people. Some people fall sick really eating really hot food or really spicy food, and it could really be anything, honestly speaking. It could really be anything. But it's so important that if you're even considering it, maybe you need to see the doctor, or you need to try to figure out why things are the way they are. But taking it away from that and bringing it back, this is adult conversations. Here we share real life issues and discuss matters relating to the heart. Tonight's story is that of Abigail. Abigail is telling us that she's 30, her boyfriend and she have been together for 2 years. So 2 years into let me put it that way. I and my husband have been together for about 5 years. I've been single for about 5 years. All right. I'm going to read the story from top so that I don't paraphrase. My name is Abigail. I'm 30 and a virtual assistant. My husband and I have been together for 2 years and we love each other very much and are discussing marriage. Before him, I had been very single for about 5 years because my genotype is SS, so it's hard to be picky. My boyfriend knows my genotype and he is an AA, so we work. I spent one Saturday 3 weeks ago with my boyfriend because he wanted me to spend some time with him. He wanted us to spend some time together. I had a sickle cell crisis for the first time in his presence that day, and he took me to the hospital, stated I was discharged, and even paid my medical bills to hook up with me after. He broke up with me after that. He broke up with me after saying that he couldn't deal with a wife falling sick all the time and needing blood, like falling sick to the point of needing blood. So in his mind, I'm sure that's so much of a big deal. But she's saying now that he has broken up with her, I need to pick my words. Now that he has broken up with her, what is the next step for her? What's the next step? What's the next step? What do you think? Do you think she should beg him? Do you think she should break up with him? 30 is not the best age when it comes to people asking, are you getting married? What are you doing? Are you getting married? And sometimes I ask myself, do they ever tell, like, when do we ever think that our hair was not as good? You know, when do we ever think that all these different things are happening to us and we're the worse off for it? When do we ever think that? How about we look at some of the positives? Looking at it from Abigail's perspective. Looking at some of the positives would be that, according to one of our previous callers, it's better that he said it now. What if he had, loved you into a marriage only to get into that marriage and you have a crisis almost immediately or for the first time or within the first few months, and he's going berserk and wondering, how did I not know this? That's why sometimes you can look at things with positives and negatives. So he's probably asking himself, how did I not know this? How did I not know this? Anyway, 2 years is also a good time for a relationship, and she said they were already even discussing marriage. So this will really break her heart. And I believe that the age factor is also another reason another reason why things are kind of the way they are. I don't know how else to put it. I'll paraphrase that and give you what I think in a second. But genotype is one thing. If you look at somebody's genotype and you know you're not compatible with the person, earlier enough, it's okay to end the relationship. That's why they always say, ask this question. So that when you have entered it, you're not enter it only to want to rush out of it because you are now saying information that you were not aware of before. So it might be a very tricky situation. But it doesn't change the fact that she's asking because she loves him. She loves him at the end of the day. So maybe she's thinking she can change him and all that. And at this point, everything is very, very, it's very, very hard. And I like that choice of word because this is somebody you were going to marry. Somebody who has said, we've been together for 2 years. Let's start talking about marriage. When will I go and see your people? Only to now say because of your disease, the sickle cell disease that you carry, then you need to be in a place where no one can treat you a certain way, and I'm trying not to talk too much because I want you to call in. But looking at it from her perspective, Should she beg him or should she accept the breakup? And that's all she's asking. Beg him, accept the breakup. Team begging, team accept the breakup. Which team do you fall into at this point? I needed to point out all the aspects of it that has occurred to me so far, and then we can discuss. So, the number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. Also, you can send a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Should she beg him or accept the breakup? Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Please turn down the volume of your radio. Please turn down the volume of your radio.
Hello.
Hello, please turn down the volume of your radio. Please turn down the volume of your radio.
Can you hear me now? Good evening.
I can hear you. Please turn down the volume of your radio.
Hello.
Turn down the volume of your radio, please. That interference is not pleasant at all. It's not pleasant. Turn down the volume of your radio and then we can talk. It's important that you do that. I know how we feel sometimes. We want to hear what we sound like. We want to hear if our voices sound good or not. But it's just causing interference, and that's not a good thing. So, hopefully, you know what to do going forward. Please turn down the volume of your radio. Please turn it down. 07000 917 917 is the number to call. 07000 917 917. What are your thoughts? Because honestly, it's a really tricky time. It's a really tricky time, and Abigail might not be so. In fact, she will not be very happy with this decision. She's not in a great place for her to be thinking of saying, "Oh, should I beg him? Should I not beg him?" She needs the advice. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Please turn down the volume of your radio.
Okay, it's gone down.
Okay, please go ahead. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Ada. I'm calling from Maguru.
Okay, Ada from Maguru. Thank you for calling. What is the advice for Abigail today?
I just want not to beg the guy. If she wants to go, she should go. If he values her, he's going to come back. She should not beg him.
Okay. If he values her, that's what you're saying. If he values her, then he will come back without her begging.
I don't see why you should beg for love. You're not supposed to beg for love. And anybody in love must have zero tolerance and zero tolerance patience. I don't see why she should beg for love.
Okay. So you're just saying she should move on, right?
Yeah, she should move on. If she values her, at times most guys, once they see that person loves you so much, they tend to make use of it anyhow. So she should be strong because the guy is doing a weakness against her. So she has to be strong and see if the person values her at least for like a day or two.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. And we're still taking more calls. We're still taking more messages. And honestly, this particular situation is one that when you really sit back to think about it, you understand all the different layers that this can play in. Doing too many different areas that this entire thing can play in. And that's because he took care of her. He was in the crisis with her. Practically yes, she was one that had the crisis, but he was right there with her, only to break up with her after. What do you think? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. This is Joseph calling from Ibafo.
Okay, hello, Joseph. Thank you for calling.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
My advice to Abigail is that she shouldn't bother much about it. It may be a test that the guy wanted to know how she would react to it. Besides, he has even put her hostel bill, isn't it? It may be a test that he wants to know her reaction. She should just show him a signal that she still needs him in her life without even just, bothering to beg him directly. But that is the body language a woman can show to someone that she's still having interest on the relationship.
Say that again.
Yeah, she should show him in a body language that she's still having interest in the relationship, no matter how far he may go. If he really belongs to her, you surely come back.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you. If he really belongs to her, he will come right back. You know, love is that one thing that a lot of times they don't have control over. And I'm yet to see a human being who talks about the fact that they don't need enough love. Honestly speaking, I just want the best for Abigail. I just want the best for Abigail. And if the best in this case means practically starting afresh with a new person, a new relationship, in the new dating scene. You don't know what it's like. You're trying to get to know somebody's likes, somebody's dislikes, and it feels like it's a good amount of times. Let me put it that way. You know, it feels like it's a good amount of times. So what should anyone do at this point? Should she beg him or should she accept his breakup? It's 7:09 on Women Radio 91.7, and this is Adult Conversations, where we share real life issues and discuss matters relating to the heart. Two years is not a long time, but 2 years is a long time. I don't know if you're following. 2 years is not a long time, but it is a long time. She dated this boyfriend for 2 years, 2 solid years, and they were already talking about marriage. Everything was supposed to end in happily ever after, right? And then they just had to go out of their way, so to speak. They had to go the next level. They had to put us all in that spin. And now he's not interested anymore because he doesn't want to have a wife that you need to take care of on that note that much. Understandable, but is it right? Understandable, but is it right? And then back to Abigail's questions. Should she beg him or accept the breakup? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, my sister.
Good evening. Please, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Evangelist Helen. I'm calling from Lambeth.
Evangelist Helen, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Yes, it's not that guy does not love her. I still love. He loves that woman, the lady. But there is no comeback. His attitude is acting on the influence of his friends, some of his friends. So my advice for her now is to go for counseling.
Okay.
To go for counseling and then pray for God's direction. God bless you.
She should go for counseling and she should pray for God's direction.
Yes, for God.
Thank you very much, Evangelist Helen. She's advising that Abigail should go for counseling and she should also pray for God's direction. I've always said this before, that it's not a crime to pray. You know, sometimes you can pray about literally anything. You feel like, oh, I'm talking too much to God. No, that's why he's there. That's why he's there. So, say a prayer. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, please? Where are you calling from?
My name is Ade Damola. I'm calling from Iju.
Ade Damola.
Other side. Yes,
okay.
I'm calling from Iju.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. I appreciate your program and I've been listening to what you have been saying since. My advice for the lady, first, you should forget about the guy.
Okay.
That man doesn't love the woman. Assume he loves him. We are born with everything. Maybe nobody is perfect in this life. And I did the same situation. It happened to me personally in my life. You know, I'm A. And my wife, she's AS. Are you understand me now?
Mm-hmm.
But she's married to someone before I marry her. Are you getting me?
Oh, okay.
And then they have a boy, and she says AS, and then the guy is AS. and they have a boy, and the boy is SS. Are you getting me?
Mm-hmm.
Both the family, they have to separate them.
Okay.
So my advice for the lady, she look for someone that AA, and she go for counseling. If she talk about the guy, pick the guy. If the guy does him, he will stick with him. With her, I mean, there's no need to be begging her from now. I'm telling you the fact. And it's good for her that the guy have told her from the beginning, before he entered marriage. When we talk marriage is not the thing that you just enter and come out immediately, rush in and come out like that. So my advice for this is she look for counseling and pray. God will give her someone that will love her very much, no matter the situation she was passing through by now. Are you getting me? It's no time for someone who was born in. It's up to my wife. Break up. She cried. Her parents and the guy, they have to separate them. The boy, and so they can't continue born something like that. So my advice for the lady is that you should take patience. Pray to give her one person that will stick and love no matter what is going on, what is passing through. So that's my advice for the lady.
You know, I appreciate that particular advice. I really do. Thank you so much for calling in.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
You too. Have a good evening. So many different pieces of advice coming in tonight for Abigail, because she really needs this. You know, this is somebody that, I mean, she can't even work. She can't even get like a proper day job. She's a virtual assistant, and this means she's working remotely, and that's because healthcare is a vital priority for her. It's very important. And the truth of the matter is, no matter how much you look at it and weigh it and turn it the other way around, it's still important that it's still important that both parties are whole after. And another thing is that both parties should be clear with their decisions at the end of the day. You know, both parties should be clear about their decisions, and they should do what their heart wants them to do at the end of the day. So it's a sad situation now when you put all your eggs in one basket. Remember I said she had been single for 5 years before this particular guy that she dated 2 years ago. So she's been single for a long time. And I'm sure when this guy rolled around, she was probably thinking, okay, this person is vulnerable with me. This person knows everything they should know about me. How do you date somebody that is carrying the sickle cell and you haven't seen them in a crisis for almost 2 years? Isn't that in itself suspicious? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. What's your name, please? Where are you calling from?
Oyedari Bukola. I wanted to contribute to the discussion that you were discussing when I was coming a few minutes ago.
Okay, please go ahead.
I don't know if the topic is still on.
Yes, it is. It is.
All right. It's about the lady, whether she should break up or she should beg the guy.
Yes, you're right.
I will advise, because I'm a medical doctor, I have seen experiences of sickle cell patients when they go through pain and all sorts. So she does not need to beg the guy, because marriage is a lifelong thing. And she really needs to go for someone that will love her, that will care for her, that will accept her the way she is. That's my advice for her. So it's better she accept the breakup and pray to God for someone that will love her, accept her the way she is. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Again, yet another very inspiring piece of advice. I don't think anyone can feel the kind of vacuum that Abigail feels right now. It's so for those who are saying, oh, it's fake love because you can't love somebody and have that care and have that be the thing that, you know, gets you out of that space. 2 years is not a short time. 2 years is not a short time. And going on a relationship break for more than 5 years is also something that contributes to this. So it's like meeting someone that you know that works for you, only to now hear that After you build your life around this person, you now hear that they are not as interested in you as you thought, and it's really, really heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. I don't know what I'd do if I were in Abigail's shoes, but my job is to let you know what the story is. Your job is to give advice to Abigail. She's in need and she needs that advice. She needs to know what to do. She needs to know how to navigate this time. Because believe me, Abigail is in hard times and she needs to know how to navigate it. So, what are your thoughts? What do you think tonight? How do you think it's going so far? (20 minutes past 7) on Women Radio 91.7, and this is still Adult Conversations. Tonight we're still profiling the story of Abigail, and I'm going on Facebook to take some comments on this story. Chris Ayanabong is saying, marriage is a lifelong journey. How often will you be begging him? Pray to God to heal you and give you a life partner. Femi Olashukwu is saying, it's so pathetic, but I think the girl should try and see what she can do to bring him back. And if he's already made up his mind, then she can just move on with her life. Her own suitor will definitely locate her. That is not the end of life. That's what Femi Olashukwu is saying. So painful, but try reaching out to him. If he truly loves you, he will come around. And if not, dear, move on. It won't be easy, especially when you love him. Brace yourself up for someone that understands your condition and love, and they'll come to stay. The problem is, will he accept and still love you with his whole heart? Okay, this one is coming from Favorite Fidelis. The problem there is, will he accept you and still love you with his whole heart? That's my fear. If not, I would have accepted you. Go and beg him. By the way, he might not accept pretending to love you and leave you when he finds another. You should let him feed. If he feels the vibe for you, he will definitely come back for you. Stop avoiding. Don't avoid being used. Yes, avoid being used waiting for another. Okay, and this one says, most times we forget we could have been in that person's shoe or even a worse situation, but such is life. My sister, don't beg for love because marriage is for life. He has to accept you and all of your baggage. And it's even better he takes a walk now than after the marriage. Does he also know what could change the marriage? Well, you know what I'm talking about, and I need your advice. This is that point where we're at, and healing is important for Abigail. Healing is important. Is she going to talk to him? Is he going to talk to her? How will this work out at the end of the day? And she's asking, should I beg him or should I break up with him? What do you think? Twenty-four minutes past 7 on Women Radio 91.7, and we're still taking messages, still taking calls, and still taking WhatsApp messages. Even on from Facebook, we're still taking messages. What are your thoughts on the story being profiled tonight? What do you think about it? She's asking, should I beg him or should I accept his breakup? Should I beg him or should I accept that we've broken up? What do you think about that? Wale from Olambe is saying, good evening, ma. My advice to you is to move on with your life. God will bring her on the way with the man that will accept her with her condition. You don't beg for someone to love. You, after all, haven't offended her. And that's coming from Wale from Molambe. Thank you very much, Wale. Thank you for that one. Well, I'm hoping that we get more messages sooner than later. What are your thoughts? What do you think should happen? Should she beg him or should she accept his breakup? Because at least if she begs him, she has a good chance she has a good chance, basically. She has a good chance. And I want this. I want things to be in a place where I can fully be open with this person. I can trust them. But now, because this is the case with Abigail and her boyfriend. You know, they were open. That's why she told him about this and all of that. And then expecting that he would understand, being that I've referred you to this particular thing before. And that was so hard. And at the end of the day, it just boils down to Abigail rather, asking, should I beg him or should I keep begging or ask him or accept the breakup? Should I keep begging or accept the breakup? I really want to know what you think. Have you been in these shoes before? Do you know what it feels like to walk in these types of shoes before? So it's important, it's very important that we evolve over time, But I'm concerned about Abigail, how quickly she'll take to evolve, particularly because of something so big. And then you're wondering, it's big, but it's kind of small because it's just one thing. Trust is a really big key in relationships, and she trusted him by telling him, and he kind of broke that trust by breaking up with her. You know, even though it was mutual and all of that, but it still doesn't change the fact that it will hurt over a period of time. So what are your thoughts on this story tonight? I want to hear it, and I believe that Abigail wants to hear it too. The number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. Make sure to send in text or WhatsApp messages to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. I'm still open to hearing what you think about Abigail. And she's saying, should I beg him or accept his breakup? Should I beg him or accept his breakup? What is your choice? If it were you, what would you do? What would you do? 29 minutes past 7 on Women Radio 91.7, and this is still Adult Conversations. My name is Sumto Titilayo Ajama, and if you're just tuning in, you're welcome. Tonight, we're profiling the story of Abigail. Abigail is saying that she's 30. She's a virtual assistant by profession, and she and her boyfriend have been together for 2 years, and they really love each other and want to marry each other. Now, before him, according to Abigail, she had been single. She had been single for about 5 years. And this is because her genotype is SS, and she mostly was meeting people who their genotypes were either SS or AS. So, to a large extent, that is always something you need to consider. And she goes on to say, my boyfriend knows my genotype, and he is AA, so we work. I live alone, but I spent 1 day 3 weeks ago with my boyfriend because he wanted us to spend time together. I arrived. I had a sickle cell crisis. That's it. I had a sickle cell crisis for the first time in his presence that day. And he took me to the hospital and stayed till I was discharged and even paid my medical bills. He broke up with me after I got better, saying that he cannot deal with a wife falling sick back and forth to the point of needing blood, so he would rather end the relationship. That's what he said. He would rather end the relationship. All right, so what do you think? What do you think? 07000 917 917 is the number to call. 07000 917 917. That's the number. Send in text or WhatsApp messages to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is your girl again. You are listening to WFM 91.7. Yeah. Keep your ear tuning. Everything right.
Spend all the money I have. I've been telling you to ensure the health of you and your family with a reliable HMO. Reliable HMO? Which of them can I go for? Ice Medicare HMO Limited. They are one of the accredited health insurance organizations with thousands of quality and accredited healthcare providers nationwide on their network. They have corporate plan, retail plan, student plan, and even community-based health plan. Also, their premium is pocket friendly. Please, where are they located? Their office is located at number 2 Osho Street, Okwebi Link Bridge, off Okwebi Road, Ikeja, Lagos. Their phone number is 080 93 555 863 or 080 32 63 9058. Their website is www.ivesmedicare.com. Ives Medicare, health protection in your colors. 2023 general election don't come. Time don't come to move Nigeria forward with our votes. Make we join hands together and vote for better candidates. Candidates wey no dey use women play. Candidates wey carry woman matter for head. We know make una get una permanent voters card PVC. Make we vote better.
My Voice for Women Empowerment Foundation and Women Radio 91.7 bring una this message.
My children are surprises. Adane buys my favorite 3 crowns milk regularly. And as for schedule, that one makes it rain with monthly upkeep. Then you plan to take me to Dubai someday soon, so I can see Burj Khalifa and other fine places.
Win your mom a trip to Dubai. Buy 3 crowns milk products worth 2,000 naira. Write a note to say thank you to your mom. Post it on www.3crowns.com.ng and she could be one of the lucky winners to Dubai. Terms and conditions apply. 3 crowns milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
It is time for all to come together with one voice and pray for our nation. Nation, Nigeria. The Agape Prayer Fellowship invites you to the Day of Prayer for Nigeria. Date is Saturday, 17th of September, 2022. Time, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. West African time. Venue is the Tafawa Balewa Square, TBS, Lagos. The Agape Prayer Fellowship, Day of Prayer for Nigeria. All are welcome, irrespective of faith and denomination.
2023 general election don't come home. Time don't come to move Nigeria forward with our votes. Make we join hands together and vote for better candidates. Candidates wey no dey use women play. Candidates wey carry woman matter for head. Women o, make una get una permanent voters card (PVC). Make we vote better.
Na Voice for Women Empowerment Foundation and Women Radio 91.7 bring una this message.
Oh yeah, give the left and right, top.
You think you know Nigeria's biggest tunes?
This battle is a problem.
Then get in the ring on the Big Tune Show every weekday from 4 to 5 p.m. on WFM 91.2.
Radio Doctor, your free phone-in health consultation program. Every Wednesday from 10 to 11 a.m. brings you family health.
It was discovered that people who are lacking in vitamin D are usually more likely to become depressed.
Call in to get free consultation on family health on 07000 917 917 or 090-256-25455. You can send in questions, cases, and related contributions on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at WFM917. Text and WhatsApp on 0703 175 6537. You can listen live online at www.wfm917.com. Radio Doctor, Nigeria's first free consultation radio health program on WFM 91.7, the voice of women.
The big question.
Corruption is, in fact, is increasing more. We never had a snake and whether Saturn and swallowing money.
Why?
Everything has increased.
Conversational, controversial, and borderline disruptive. The big question.
Mondays to Fridays, 12:05 p.m.
On your women radio, WFM 91.7.
Hello, good evening. Okay, kindly call back if you can. I'm still taking calls. I'm still taking texts. I'm still reading WhatsApp messages, and I'm still taking messages off of Facebook. And whatever your medium is, whatever your preferred medium is, leave me a message or call me and give your advice to Abigail. Abigail is talking about the fact that okay, we have a call coming in. Okay, kindly call back if you can. Abigail is talking about the fact that she and her boyfriend have been together for 2 years and everything was good. They were talking about getting married. They had a very good, healthy relationship. Now, one Saturday, 3 weeks ago, Abigail went to her boyfriend's house at his own request. Since he said, I want to spend more time with you. So she said, okay, no problem. So she went there. But because Abigail is a sickle cell carrier, she's a sickle cell carrier, and her boyfriend is AA, bear in mind that her boyfriend knows that she's a sickle cell carrier. What Abigail did not bargain for was that she was going to have a sickle cell crisis that day. So she fell into a sickle cell crisis in the presence of her boyfriend, who initially didn't know what to do, but just basically got her to the hospital. And he stayed by her side till they discharged her. He comforted her, he spoke to her, and she got better. She actually got better. Now, after she got better, he broke up with her and said that he just needed her to get better before saying that. But he knows now, look at her and what she went through, he knows now that he cannot be spending that kind of how do I put it up? Knowing what he knows, he cannot be spending that kind of money, that kind of feelings, or putting all his energy into somebody who will be falling sick so frequently. I mentioned money because Abigail's story said he paid the medical bills. So he didn't just take her to the hospital, he also paid the medical bills. So he obviously knows how much things have changed. So it's understandable when you think about it, why he backed out. It's understandable, but Abigail cannot really come to terms with the fact that this person that she dated for 2 years is no longer in her life and may not be for the future, may not ever be anymore. And I think that's what brought her to this point where she's asking this question: should she beg him or should she accept the breakup? People will say what they want at the end of the day, but what is most important is what you want and how your life is lived. That is the most important thing. What you want, how your life is geared in that direction. It's a very sad situation what's going on with Abigail, but this is why she needs your advice. 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. Also, send in a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. I'm open to hearing more messages. I'm open to taking more calls before we round off. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Do you think she's out of her mind for even asking, should I beg him? Or do you think she's just trying to see if she can be the Cinderella in this particular story? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, please? Where are you calling from?
My name is Caroline from Moray.
Oh, hello, Caroline. How are you today?
I'm okay. I'm right. And you?
I'm good, Caroline. I'm good.
Yeah. My advice, I just want to say a little bit of things before I give my advice. I don't think the guy does not know her.
Okay.
And that may be a school of thought of everyone. But I don't think so. I just think you can't just deal with it. If we turn the table, vice versa. There are a lot of ladies that can't just deal with it. Their body does not carry, they just can't cope. So that's just I just want to say that. And again, she should not chip in herself because of what is wrong with her. That's not the end of the world. And she should not, because of that, begging. That begging will continue. I can tell that 100%. That begging will continue, and that she will not like that. I don't like the situation whereby they got married like 3 years, they are hearing about divorce. I don't like that. I like happily ever after before. So she should move on with her life. That's straightforward, and she'll find a person that can deal. It's not about love or a person that loves and can deal with it. Because there are lots of things even I cannot deal with. It's not about that. I don't care about the person. But I just can't carry it. That's just my own advice for this evening.
Okay. Thank you so much, Caroline. Thank you for that. Honestly, I'm short of words. I'm at a loss for words. And that's because a lot of times when women are in this kind of situation, sickle cell, one disease or the other, even single motherhood, it's kind of always difficult for them to get men to be interested in them enough to stay. But does it change anything? It really doesn't. It doesn't change anything at the end of the day. The number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. Send in your text or WhatsApp messages to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. That's the number to call. So please go ahead. Tell me your thoughts on this. We'll be rounding off soon, but I still want to hear from you. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, please? Where are you calling from?
My name is Wisdom. I'm actually calling from Ikodu, presently driving home.
Okay. Thank you for calling, Wisdom. Please go ahead.
All right. You see, for me, I really don't think the guy doesn't care about her. But I think the guy breaking up with her is part of caring. You understand?
No, I don't understand. I'm going to need you to explain that one.
He was actually sincere enough to tell her he couldn't deal with her. You understand? In this showing that he cares about her well-being. You understand? And having to deal with somebody who has that kind of ailment that you cannot fend for, knowing fully well that you're struggling, it might not be all that okay. And we know what health is in this country, like taking care of somebody who has that kind of health issue. Presently, as it is, you know how much expenses that incurs. It's a whole lot. You understand? If it was in the outside country, let's just assume London, the government takes care of people like this. You see, you being with them is not going to be a liability because you know whenever they have crisis, they can always call the ambulance. As we are, for every average man in Nigeria has like 7 dependents on him. His family, his juniors, his young, and he has, the whole lot. There's a whole lot. So I really don't blame him though.
Interesting take. Very interesting take. And there's a lot of truth to that, honestly. Breaking up with her, is it a part of caring? I think to a large extent I would say the guy cared for her. He loved her even. But he loved himself more in that minute, in that specific time. In that specific time when he began to see that she just might be involved. So, I don't know how else to say this, but so many times we find ourselves in this kind of tricky situations. And you sometimes don't know what to do. That's why programs like this are available. That's why Adult Conversations is available. This is where we can tell our great stories, and this is where we can figure things out, and this is basically everything. So, what is the way forward now? She's saying, should I beg him or should I accept his breakup? I don't know what your thoughts are, but Abigail wants to hear from you. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. Sorry, this is Wisdom calling back.
Okay, very quickly now.
Yeah, like I was saying, you see, I have a wife who has sickle cell. She has sickle cell. She's MS. So, and she's a British born. Okay. And I don't really think as much of an ability because every time she's got a friend, the government takes care of it.
Okay.
I do my own take by making sure I go visit her, do everything I can do when I'm in the country. Yeah, that thing is a lifetime journey. Trust me, you might actually say you can now, but trust me, with the economy of Nigeria, you will get broken at the end of the day. We don't have a good healthcare system, and at the end of the day, something might happen to that same lady, and her family can hold you responsible.
I hear you. I hear you, Wisdom. Believe me, I do. I see your point, and I understand it from even the guy's perspective.
Just in this case of the country, I grew up in the time whereby you can actually go to a bus stop when we're going to secondary school or primary school then, and actually say, "Brother, please love me." And it's not laughing without this kind of taking you to your destination and job. But these days, it can happen. It's not to help you, but it can. Because if anything happens in that process, he will be taking blame for it. You understand?
Yes.
It's not as if he doesn't want to be there. Him saying he wants to be there, he's paying for the hospital bill. But the fear of what if anything happens, somebody with sickle cell in the kind of system of health we have in Nigeria, anything can happen. It might even be a delay of attendance in the hospital, and the person could just go from there. And they will hold you responsible, and this stigma is going to stay on you, and you killed somebody. You understand? So this is just, he didn't love himself. For you to take somebody for 2 years, and you realize that person had that sickness, and you still pay for the hospital to make sure the person was fine before you can open your mouth, you can say, "I'm done with this." He's actually grieving presently at the scene.
All right. Thank you very much, Wisdom. Thank you so much. We're actually pressed for time right now. So thank you again, Wisdom. And that's actually the final call that we can take today. That's the final call that we can take today. I want to say that Wisdom does have a very valid point. A really valid point, if I may add. And that's because the guy himself, obviously, is in love with this woman. They've been together for 2 years. He was going to marry her, but falling into a crisis right before him, going through the step by step, looking at how she looked, how he tried to fix the situation, maybe medication, whatever it is that he tried to do that didn't work, and then he had to take her to the hospital, and then she had to stay days in the hospital, and then she has to, collect blood and everything. Sometimes it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. And then understanding that sickle cell is not like, oh, you treat it now, it's gone, it's over. It's over and done with. That is not it. As Wisdom said, it's lifelong. So he probably took 2 steps back and said, can I do this forever? Can I do this forever for this woman? And possibly the answer was no. And he realized, I don't see any point deceiving myself. I might as well choose a different path. Now, maybe that's what happened. I don't know. But the reality is he has made his choice. However unfair it might look, it's a valid choice, believe me. Some of us would do the same thing if the man that we're with falls into a crisis in front of us. And then we're thinking, am I sure I can do this? It might not even be a crisis. It might be anything. It might really be anything. And then you're telling yourself, I don't think I can stay in this relationship because of this reason. So let's not point dark fingers at Abigail's boyfriend. But at the same time, it's definitely heartbreaking, the situation that Abigail is in. So most schools of thought today have said, don't beg him. Don't beg him. Just go straight to the point, try to figure things out. And again, that's not very easy because before this guy, she had been single for 5 years. So imagine thinking, okay, I found the person only for you to go back and start. It's not as easy. It's really not as easy. However, this is what we call it a day on Adult Conversations this evening. We've had a very large conversation around this today, And I honestly appreciate you for sending in comments, calling, and of course, letting your voice be heard across all the social media platforms. Remember, tomorrow is another time on Adult Conversations. Tomorrow, 6 to 8 p.m. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and I'm still right here. Just be safe and have a peaceful night at this point. Well, I do have to say thank you to the engineers on duty and, of course, my production assistant, Eniola. On this note, this is why I say goodbye tonight on Adult Conversations. Sleep tight, have a good night's rest. My name is Sumto Titilayo Ajama. Good evening.
One thing when you kick it for, two things when you kick it for, three things when you kick it for. These are not even before. If you go, walk some back home. I don't need you to go. I don't want you to go. Girl, if you go, walk some back home. I don't need you home. I don't want you home. I'm not staying anytime. I'm not talking to my best friend. I'm not staying up all night. No more dancing in my mind. So if you go, I won't fit up. If you go, I won't fit up. If you go, I won't fit up. If you wanna go, I'll make you body on. I know that you go, but that's finished, so but I tell you go, I'll keep on like so. So you get the liver, I will show you my soul. I'm ready for it. Anyhow you want to sit, I'm ready to show. I'm ready to go, but I'm not finished, show.